The rest of you, Batman is not to leave this rooftop.
So you've got the PlayStation Vita emulator running on your Android, but now the real question is, what can it actually play? I spent the last few days testing some of the most demanding Vita games, and the results might just surprise you. If you followed my setup guide from the last video, your emulator should be fully ready. If not, that tutorial is linked right here. But if you're already up and running, let's jump straight into the good stuff. We're starting with the games that ran flawlessly, smooth graphics, clean audio, zero lag. Then we'll move down to the ones with a few hiccups, and finally, the titles that still need some serious work. And here's the thing, some of these ran way better than I expected. In fact, one of them performs almost like a native Android game. Let's get into it.
Round 1, fight!
Let's start with a heavy hitter, Mortal Kombat 9. This game pushes everything, high-impact visuals, brutal animations, and tight combat timing. And yet, on Vita3K for Android, it's surprisingly smooth. Gameplay stays locked at 60 frames per second, even during those cinematic X-ray moves. It feels incredible seeing this run fluidly on a phone, considering this used to demand dedicated handheld hardware. MK9's story mode plays without stutters, menus are clean, and the sound is perfectly synced. If you wanted proof that Vita3K can handle intense, cinematic games, this is it.
Now let's move on to Dragon Ball Z: Battle of Z, a title that pushed the limits of handheld fighting games. Compared to earlier portable entries like Shin Budokai on the PSP, this one feels like a massive evolution. Instead of the tight one-on-one duels we were used to, Battle of Z amps things up with chaotic 4v4 team battles that make every fight feel like an episode straight out of the anime. The cel-shaded visuals still shine today, with vibrant auras, particle effects, and transformations that burst with energy. On Vita3K, it maintains a stable 30 FPS throughout gameplay, keeping every Kamehameha and Spirit Bomb perfectly smooth. If you've ever wanted to relive those massive DBZ clashes, whether it's Goku and Vegeta versus the world, or your own dream team of Saiyans, this is one you'll want to experience again. It's fast, fun, and packed with that trademark Dragon Ball chaos handheld fans love.
Now this one surprised me. Freedom Wars is a Japanese action role-playing game that feels like a cross between God Eater and Monster Hunter, with its own dystopian twist. It throws you into a brutal world where every citizen is a prisoner, fighting to earn their freedom by battling colossal mechanical enemies. What's remarkable is that this once console exclusive now runs on Android through Vita3K at around 20 to 30 FPS, playable enough to relive its chaotic intensity. Few JRPGs match its mix of story-driven combat, slick sci-fi design, and teamwork-driven missions. If you missed this on the PS Vita, this is the perfect time to experience one of Japan's most ambitious handheld RPGs, reborn on mobile.
Next up, Gravity Rush. Arguably one of the most creative action-adventure titles from the Vita library. I had never heard of this game before, and it turns out to be one of the best games ever on the handheld. You control Cat, a gravity-shifting superhero gliding through a surreal floating city. Performance-wise, it runs at a steady 30 frames per second with consistent rendering. No major glitches, no serious slowdowns. But beyond the numbers, it's just wild to experience this game's motion controls and physics engine working on Android. There's something vintage about playing this game. The soundtrack, the cel-shaded visuals, the feeling of weightlessness, it all translates beautifully here.
Alright, let's talk about Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate, one of the most ambitious handheld adaptations of a console franchise. Unlike its PS3 counterpart, which offered full 3D freedom, Blackgate takes a 2.5D approach, blending side-scrolling exploration with the signature Arkham combat and stealth mechanics fans love. What's impressive is how well it translates the essence of the Arkham experience to portable play. The counter system, stealth takedowns, and detective vision are all here, streamlined but surprisingly faithful. Visually, it doesn't match the dynamic lighting or detailed character models of the PS3 version, but for handheld hardware, the art direction carries it. Moody backdrops, heavy shadows, and slick animations give Gotham that gritty, oppressive feel. On Vita3K, the game runs at a consistent 30 FPS with only minor static audio hiccups that don't break immersion.
What a lousy way to end a first date. I hoped you were a gentleman.
Now for something lighter, Angry Birds Star Wars. Yeah, it's simple, but it's also one of the best optimized Vita ports you'll ever find. It runs perfectly at 60 frames per second. The only hiccup? A few static flashes during menu transitions. Barely noticeable once you start slinging birds. And honestly, it's pure nostalgia. The combination of Star Wars music cues and classic Angry Birds mechanics makes this the kind of quick game you can load up just to remind yourself why the Vita library was so fun in the first place.
Then comes Street Fighter X Tekken, another ambitious crossover title that performs better than expected. Frame rate hovers between 30 and 50, and apart from a few minor text glitches in menus, gameplay is rock solid. You can pull off combos, counters, and specials without input lag. Watching these iconic characters face off on Android still feels unreal. This is a perfect showcase piece if you're testing fighting game performance. Fast, responsive, and visually clean once matches start.
And finally, J-Star's Victory vs. Plus. This one's bittersweet. It boots fine, menus look great, sound plays perfectly, but once you're in battle, the characters themselves vanish. You see the stage, the effects, the fight animations, just not the fighters. Still, it's an important inclusion because it shows where Vita3K still has work to do. The engine's handling of certain shaders and transparency layers is clearly still evolving, but the fact that it runs this far without crashing is promising. If the devs keep pushing updates, this could become fully playable soon.
So that's 8 PS Vita titles running right on Android, and honestly the results speak for themselves. From Mortal Kombat's flawless 60 FPS brawls to Gravity Rush's physics-driven world, Vita3K is proving that handheld gaming doesn't have to stay in the past. It can evolve. If you've already got the emulator running and you're chasing smoother frame rates or sharper visuals, then don't miss the next video. I'll break down the exact settings and tweaks that can push your performance even further. Drop a comment below with which game impressed you the most or which one surprised you the most, and let's keep this conversation going. Until then, keep gaming, keep experimenting, and I'll see you in the next one.
Round 2, fight!